Hi and welcome to part 2 of Android's custom view tutorial. If you haven't seen the part 1, then make sure you watch it, otherwise you won't understand anything. So let's continue where we left off on part 1. We have a square object drawn on the canvas, and in this tutorial we will create a new resource file for custom attributes. So let's create it under the values folder. Create new resource file. Let's call it attributes from attributes. Okay. And we need to use the declare style label. We need to add a name. Let's call it custom view. And we need to define the attributes name. So we will use a color and a size for our square. So that would be square color with format of color. Okay. And an attribute with square size format dimension. Okay. As you can see, you can define multiple values under this enum, color, dimension, booleans, enums, flags, float, fractions, etc. So for the size we will use dimension. Okay. Sorry. So the next step is to parse and to obtain those values from the attribute set. So we can have a nullable attribute set, so we need to make sure that our attribute set isn't null, otherwise we might get an null pointer exception, so we don't want to crash our app. And the second step is to obtain a typed array by calling getContext obtain attribute set, and we need to pass the attribute set and the name of the style label. Okay, from custom view. Make sure you call the recycle on the typed array so we don't mess up with the garbage collector. And also the recycle must be called after obtaining the values from the attribute set. So to obtain the color value from our custom attribute, we need to create a new primitive integer and call typed array get int or get color, and we need to pass the name of the attribute and the default value. So that will be our style label custom view square color and the default value of green. Okay, let's create this as a member of the class. So that will be private int m square color, because we need to get the color from outside of this init method. We need to add this square color here in the swap color method. So that would be replace the green and the green in the swap color method. Okay. So, and the next step is to obtain the size of the square size. Okay. Type the array get dimension pixel size r stylable custom view square size, and the default value, let's refactor this constant and let's call it square size depth, and pass it as the second parameter for the get dimension pixel size method. And Let's replace the square size constant value in the onDraw method. Okay, I think that's it. And let's go to our layout file. Okay, let's build the project. Okay, now let's use the custom attributes from our attribute file. So we have a square color and we have a square size. Okay, let's define some colors in the colors resource file. Let's name it color name square color. As you can see, I'm using here camel case. Let's copy the hex value from here. Okay, and let's define some dimension as well. So dimen name equals with square size, and let's say 100 dp. Oh, there's a typo. Okay, now go back to the layout class and let's write those values. So that will be color square color and dimen square size. And it's not working. It's not working because we don't set the color value for our paint object. So remove this line and let's call it after obtaining the square color. So that will be m square color. Let's see if those changes were applied. Yep, that worked. Also, we don't need to define dimension in the dimension resource files or colors as well. We can pass values directly into the layout. So let's say 200 dp or 150 dp or 1 dp. Anyway, let's use the defined square size. Okay, so this is how we can pass custom attributes directly into our custom view. Now let's go forward to our next stage and let's create a circle on the canvas. But first of all, let me explain to you how we can do that. The yellowish layer is our canvas, in the left is our square, and we want to draw a circle on the right of the canvas. And to do that, we need to specify the position of the circle, the radius, and a paint. So the position of the circle consists of two values, a center x and the center y value. The radius will be the size of the circle. To draw a circle on the canvas, we need to call the drawCircle method, which takes center x, a center y, a radius, and a non-null paint object. Okay, so first of all, let's calculate the circle's position. So that will be float center x, center y, and we also need a radius, and let's say 100 float. We want to place the circle in the right of the canvas, so that will be center x get width. The get width will return an integer value, the total width of the custom view, actually the size of the canvas, minus radius, and we also want to add an extra right padding, so our circle won't be right in the edge of the screen. So minus 50 float. Okay, and the center y, let's place the circle on the same line as the square's center is. So that will be mrect square top plus mrect square height divided by 2. Okay, and we need to define and create a new instance of an paint object. So let's declare it as a member of the class paint and create a new instance of this class in the init method paint, and we also want to enable anti-aliasing. So set anti-aliasing to true. And let's define a color for our square. Let me pick the color picker. So this is the hex value of the circle. And to parse this hex value, or to convert it into an integer value, we can call the color parse color utility method, which takes a string, a color string. Okay, so let's see if we can see the circle in the layout. Again, we need to build the project. Yay, so our circle is in the right of the canvas. So if I change the height of the squares, the circle's y value is relative to the center of the square. So let's say 450 dp. Oh, sorry. We need to change the square size. So the current size is 100 dp. Let's add more 20 dp. Okay, and another 10, and another 4, and another 10, 6. So as you can see, the circle's center is relative to the circle's center. Great. Okay, now let's have some fun with our circle. Let's add a drag and drop functionality. So if I press the circle, I can drag it and drop it anywhere on the canvas. So let's go back to our custom view and let's remove this. We don't need it anymore. And we need to detect touches on the canvas. So we need to override the onTouch event, and the very first step is to save this bool value and return it, because we want to detect only two types of motion events, two actions. The first one is motion event dot action down, and which returns true, and the second one is motion event dot action move, which also returns true. So we need to detect and catch the action down action, otherwise the action move won't be called. Okay, now we need to set some values for our circle position, and let's change this into global values, circle x and circle y, and let's make the radius also global, so circle radius. So let's declare them in the top of the class. Private float circle x and circle y, and private float circle radius, which equals with 100 float. Okay, we need some default values. So if our circle x equals with 0 float, or circle y equals with 0 float, Then let's position the circle in the center of the canvas. So mCircle x equals with the width of the canvas divided by 2, and mCircle y equals with get height of the canvas divided by 2. Okay, so this is how we position a circle into the center of the canvas. We have defined the radius, and now let's detect the touch event on the circle. We have an x and the y value from the event object, which is the position of the touch, the x and the y. And to detect if this touch is inside our circle, we need to calculate a delta x value, which equals with mat power x minus the center of the circle to the power of 2, and a delta y value, which equals with mat power y minus m circle y to the power of 2. So if our delta x plus delta y is less than mat power to the circle radius raised to the power of 2, then this is a touch event. So our circle was touched. So in this case, let's remove this. Actually, let's move it and return the default value. So return true because our circle was touched, and we need to set the touch position to the circle's position. So mCircle x equals with x and mCircle y equals with y. And because we have made changes in our custom view, we need to call the post invalidate. Okay, let's see if our circle is in the center of the canvas. Yep, it's right there. Now let's run the app. Okay, now check it out. Yep, is working. The swap color works. Yep, this one too. Great. Let's continue having fun. Let's add another functionality to our square. So if I'm pressing the square, let's increase the radius of the circle. So we will need the touch position, and we need to check if this point is within our square bounds. So m square mrect square, sorry, left is less than the x, and mrect square right is greater than x. Okay, on the x-axis, and on the y-axis mrect square top is less than y, and mrect square bottom is greater than y. Okay, and now we need to add mCircle radius. Let's add another 10 value for our square radius, and again we need to call post invalidate. So let's see if those changes were applied. Let's run the app. Okay, so here is our circle, and if I press the square, the size of the Circle also increases. Swap color is also working. Great. Well, we could add collision detection, but not in this tutorial. Okay, so that was it. Alright guys, this is the ending of part 2 of Service Android Custom View. You can download the whole project from my blog, you can find the links in the description. If you're having trouble or you have any questions, please write a comment. And also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.